Welcome to Whiskey and SV. I'm your host Sam, and tonight I'll be doing the continuation of an episode which I started a couple of weeks ago when I got these samples from my generous friend Donnie and his wife. As you know, we're approaching Halloween, so this is a really cool sticker that they put on there. So, you know, the thing about the episode was that when I opened the box, Donnie had put there were two boxes, right? There's two little boxes, and I was supposed to do 7 different stags, which I should have known better because, you know, if I looked at this envelope, they're all color coded, and well, you know, by the fact that there's 7 stickers on here, I should have known that I was supposed to do 7, but somehow I messed that up. So I'm going to, you know, for the stags, I don't know if I have enough now to do brackets. Maybe I have like half an ounce each in each one, left in each one. So maybe at some point I'll do another proper blind tasting of all 7 batches. But tonight what I want to focus on is the 3 that, well, are definitely not stags, but I don't know what they are. So it's going to be exciting because I actually really have no idea what they're supposed to be at all. So they could be anything. We did have some discussions about what may be there. So I don't have very good memory, so I don't remember much. But I'm sure they're all, stuff that I'm going to enjoy. So yeah, so tonight let's try to see what a true blind, when you have no idea what they are, is actually like. So yeah, we have A, B, and C, and I have no idea which is which. I've not opened this envelope yet. Right. Well, I love how organized and nice these samples are. I sent some samples to friends, and they've definitely not been so nice and organized. So I think I need to up my sample game for sure. Okay, so sample C will go in here. Right, so let's get started with this. We'll start with A. That would make more sense than starting with C. Obviously, it's a bourbon. There's some deep caramel, vanilla, and oak. It doesn't seem like it's very high proof. There's hardly any burn on the nose at all. The oak is very prominent in this one. I have to say it does taste a little bit, it does smell a bit like Buffalo Trace Smashville 1 products. But yeah, I'm not sure. Okay, so let's try B. Oh wow, much more minerally. Reminds me of a little bit of Maker's Mark Cellar Aged. Obviously a bourbon though, you know, it's a bourbon that's just got a lot more mineral to it. Maybe it's, I get that in some Russell's Reserves as well. So for example, a Russell Reserve 13 might have a similar nose, but it doesn't seem very high proof. In fact, it seems even less proofy than this one. Going back to this, it's actually now feels much more higher proof than that one. So just on the nose, if I was to guess, I would say this is probably like in the maybe mid to high 50s. This one feels more like definitely below 50, I would say. So below 100 proof, maybe below around 110 proof, something like that. Okay, and let's do C. Okay, very different. These are all, by the way, very different noses. Interesting. It's kind of somewhere in between the two. I think I might have, I need to give it a little bit of time. So, yeah. If I was to guess again, I think this is some sort of Buffalo Trace. This might be a Russell Reserve or a Maker's Mark. Now I know for most people, like Maker's Mark and Buffalo and Maker's Mark and Russell Reserve are very different. But for me, the marker is a mineral note, and kind of reminds me of a well, if you have like a cellar and if it's the cellar walls are made from limestone, and then that limestone kind of seeps in, that's kind of what it reminds me of. Okay, let's try this one more time. Some tobacco in this, like a tobacco leaf. It's definitely not as sweet as the other two. Okay, so at this point I want to do the palates. I think I'll go in the same order. Actually, no, I'm going to start with what I perceive to be the lowest proof, which is this one. This one is kind of in between, I guess, in terms of proof. By the way, the nose on this one is much more muted than the other two. I think my favorite is this kind of Buffalo Trace character. It's definitely like very... Okay. Right, let's start with this one then. That is quite spicy, actually. It's more high proof than the nose would let on. So it could be some sort of Elijah Craig even. Maybe it's a Heaven Hill product. I'm not really sure. The palate definitely hits more like Elijah Craig than it does Buffalo Trace. I like this a lot. This is really nice. Just the right amount of spices, that caramel and vanilla, the oak, the kind of the finish is also pretty lingering, making my mouth water. I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, I don't know. I would, you know, I don't know. I first thought maybe some sort of Buffalo Trace, but now having tasted it, I'm maybe leaning more towards possibly like some sort of Elijah Craig, like maybe an older batch of Elijah Craig. That's now I'm getting much more the rye spices on the nose. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, let's go to the second one. Lots of vanilla. Again, that's mineral marker is there. Kind of spicy. Yeah. I think this is some sort of Russell's Reserve. At least from what I remember from the Russell's Reserves that I've tasted, it could be like one of the Russell Reserve 13 batches, or yeah. I mean, I think it's a more of a Russell Reserve character. It's definitely not Maker's Mark because it's too spicy to be Maker's Mark. And there's no wheat. Actually, that is actually, I'm getting that slight bitterness that I get from wheat, so maybe it is a Maker's Mark. I have a hard time distinguishing the bitterness from oak than from the bitterness that I get from wheat. So a wheated bourbon to me has some slight bitterness, and I'm getting that in here, and I'm not sure if it's from the oak or from the wheat. Well, I need to do more blind tastings between Maker's Mark and Russell Reserve. But I think it's one of those two because but it just feels like it has rye in there, and there's just the spices are more. So I'm gonna guess Russell Reserve. I don't think this is Maker's Mark. Even though I'm getting that slight bitter tinge, I feel like it's probably the spices just make me think of rye. Okay, let's go to the last one. Oh wow, now this is a lot more fruity. It's very distinct from the other two. I think I get a distinct toffee note in it. Toffee with just lots of fruity notes, sweet fruits. That feels a lot lower proof than all of those actually. There's a little bit of spices there, but it seems a little muted compared to the other two. But there's a lot more layers though. I feel like the complexity is definitely different. Like this is just what I think is like what is it, stereotypical bourbon, which for me is either Buffalo Trace or Heaven Hill products like Elijah Craig. This hits more like a Russell's Reserve, I think. This one is it feels like it's an older product because even though it's like low proof, that oak, sweet oak, and the layered stuff comes out a lot more. It's definitely not as spicy as the other two. It's not as high proof as the other two. It doesn't have the same bite, but it just feels like it's something that you can probably spend more time with. I'm not sure what it could be. I mean, I think, let's see. I'm gonna go do one more round of on the palettes to see which one I prefer. But right now, complexity wise, I'm leaning towards this. Just what I would enjoy the most and the intensity is A. So that definitely smells like Buffalo Trace. It feels a bit young though, I have to say. It has like lots of oak, but it also feels young. So I'm not really sure what's going on there. But I like it. I do enjoy that a lot. Okay, let's go with this again. There is some bitterness here that just reminds me of wheat, I think. It's more wheat than it is. But it's spicy, so I'm confused. Like wheat is not supposed to be so spicy. So I feel like this might be some wheated product, which could be Maker's Mark. It could even be Larceny. But I don't think like Larceny barrel proofs they definitely have more bite to them than this. So it could be some weird batch of Larceny, I guess. Yeah, it feels like it has some wheat in it. I'm not sure. Okay. Right. Let's go to this last one again. This feels more. It just feels watered down compared to the other two. But it has a lot of oak, so I'm gonna guess that this is an older product. I have tried the. We were discussing at some point maybe like of doing slipping like a Michter's 10 in there. I have to say, if I was to guess. I don't know. I've had a Michter's 10 once, and I got a lot more intense like nose and toffee on it. This doesn't have that really aromatic nose compared to the other two, so I don't know. But at the same time, I get a lot of oak in there, so I think there's some chance. It would be disappointing if this is a Michter's 10. Given what I remember, I had a very small sample in a tasting, and I was halfway through the tasting, so I was like already kind of drunk, and what I remember from that was that experience and the way it was hyped up to me. It just felt really amazing. So I would be a bit disappointed if this is a Michter's 10. But it just does feel like an older bourbon because it's low proof, but it has lots of oak, and the complexity there is definitely like there as well. I think I would enjoy sipping on this the most. This is the most interesting, and this is probably my least favorite. Okay, so with that said, I know I haven't really committed too much, but hopefully that was interesting. Let's see when we find out and we analyze what it is. It's going to be even more interesting, hopefully. Okay, so let's see. A, B, and C. All right, so the first one is an E.H. Taylor batch proof batch 10. Oh, wow. So, oh my God. So I was right about the first one being Buffalo Trace. And I think that's Buffalo Trace mash bill 1. So, cool. So, batch 10. So, yeah, I picked out the Buffalo Trace, and probably, I don't know what the proof on it is. It probably is high. B is Blanton's SFTB 128.2. So interesting that Blanton's was not my favorite. And I don't know. Yeah, it's obviously Blanton's is mash bill 2, but it's not a wheat mash bill. It's just I think less rye or something, or more rye. I'm not sure. I have to check that. And C is Joseph Magnus Cigar Blend batch 141. Okay, so. Right, so I actually don't know how old the Joseph Magnus is, but I'm glad that it's not the Michter's 10 because I would have been very disappointed if it was. I didn't get MGP vibes on this. I think the Joseph Magnus Cigar Blend is an MGP product, and it's non-age stated, so I don't know how old it's supposed to be, but yeah. But it's interesting to me that this batch 141. I think I don't know how what the ABV on that specific batch is, or generally on the Joseph Magnus, but I think it's worth checking, because what I want to know is, are they? It felt like it was the least ABV of all of them, but let's see. Oh, combination of award-winning Joseph Magnus bourbon, 11 and 18-year-old whiskey. So it is older whiskey. That is at least I got that right. It's a 115.4 proof. Oh wow, this does not drink like it's proof. It's like actually drinking like a lot lower proof than I thought. I'm assuming that this is 128.2. This also honestly drank a lot lower than this proof. 128.2 is like what? It's like 64.1% ABV. Yeah, it doesn't drink like that at all. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think well, this was very enlightening for me. I think I'm just relieved that this is not Michter's 10, because if it was, I would be very disappointed. In my mind, Michter's 10 is like really amazing, and I have managed to get a bottle, so I'll be opening mine soon to taste it. I have to admit, I didn't think I would enjoy the cigar blend so much, because when I tried it before, I actually picked out MGP notes on it. I tried batch 100 or 99 or something, and I heard the earlier batches were better, but I'm surprised that batch 141 was still pretty decent. I mean, it was definitely not as obviously as good as the E.H. Taylor batch 10, but there was definitely some complexity there, and it drank way below its proof, which is, I have to go back to this actually now, because I'm just thinking, how the hell is this almost 64%? It just did not drink like it's that high proof. Let's see. Yeah, lots of oak. I think that 18-year in here is definitely like doing its job. Yeah, I get no MGP vibes in there at all. Okay. Well, there you have it, folks. I hope you enjoyed that episode. This was really interesting for me. You know, this is a learning opportunity and a journey for me, because I think it's really important to be able to pick stuff out without really having a frame of reference, or saying, I mean, obviously you want to be able to have some idea of where you are when you're drinking something by itself, but also like when you have a bunch of stuff, at least being able to tell them apart. I'm really working on that. Obviously I'm not an expert or anything. I'm pretty new to bourbon, to be honest, but having so many great friends, they've really got me the opportunity to try some of the best bourbons that most people wouldn't get to try otherwise. I'm really grateful for that. And yeah, I continue to learn, and I'll share that journey here with you guys, and I hope you enjoy that as well. Thank you so much, and see you next week. Cheers.